And we're live. Welcome to Lady Geek Live. I am actually sending this out an hour later because I'm an idiot and I wasn't thinking about the time zone differences. Christie Shinn is my special guest today. She's an artist and head of Horror Studios. She draws stuff like Demon Bitch, which is inspired by people she hates because they're mean and ugly. She's got a Kickstarter campaign called I Told You So. And we are going to welcome her today as soon as I pull this banner off. Hello, Christie.
Hi, Meredith. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I am actually exhausted because you and I were on Unscripted with Demon Phil Locklear last night, and we were burning the midnight oil. And in my case, it was like the really early morning oil, too. So, and I've been having storms all day because, what is it? Tropical storm Cristobal in the area.
Oh, yeah, like you have hurricanes over there, right?
Yeah. So I'm getting the outer bands of it. That's where I am in Florida. So that's been fun. That's been fun today. And I was just like, okay, I'm almost glad that we pushed this an hour because I wasn't sure if I was going to have electricity. So if I disappear, guys, it's because of that. Blame Cristobal.
Yeah, right. Fucking Cristobal.
Introduce yourself to our friends and family because this is going out to Geek Insider and Comic Book Advocate Network and a few other channels. So we're simulcasting all over the place. And there are many people who don't know you, shockingly.
Well, I'm a creator of Demon Bitch. She's a low-level demon from the 13th pit of hell where people throw their dog shit in gum wrappers. And she wants to bring the second coming of Armageddon, but the first one never happened because she's an idiot. So what I did was I decided to make a series of books on her. And it was based on girls I fucking hated because they were goddamn cunts. Hated them. So the first one was this, Demon Bitch, Hellfire and Damnation. It's about basically LA chicks and their stupidities. And then this was about she sucks because she's a stupid piece of shit. And she wonders why everybody hates her when she does hateful things. And then this one, I kind of did a thing where Tony is featured in my Kickstarter. And in the Kickstarter, well, this one, Tony formulated these like alcoholic beverages. And they were bad. But it wasn't like he just threw shit together and did the dumb things. He just like actually crafted shitty ones. Like there's this one where, the Demon Bitch cocktail where it's pungent. And it smells pungent. It looks like a cup of semen. So he did that, and I drank all of them. I mean, and also what was happening before that was, and so I call it like Water for Chocolate, except it's terrible because Water for Chocolate's a great book. This one isn't. And what happened is that as I was wrapping this up, because it takes me a year to put a book together with all the materials and stuff. Midway, I got kind of a nice little surprise. It was called Casey Anthony, and she was a 6-inch pancreatic tumor. Let me find her. So this is me when I had my fucking thing right.
Let me put you on big screen. Hold on a second.
Okay.
There you go. Oh, you actually have the CAT scan?
Yeah, this is a CAT scan. Outlined in green is that somebody said Tammy Pond needs her own spinoff. They used Tampon, my friend made up a character. So it has these big tits right here. Let me see. She has these big tits right here. So I did one called Pancreas Tits, and you can now get it as an enamel pin through the Kickstarter. So the thing is that I need to fund the Kickstarter at $5,500, and those are stretch goals. Some of the pins like Cove Thick 19 and the Plague Doctor, because one is glittery and one is gold. So I'm not looking just hitting $5,500. I want to go way past that so I can get you those pins. But I put those pins up because I think if more people get the pins, most likely I will get the goal. And on top of that, I have the Dusty Face Mask, of which has the slogan saying maybe somebody should take DMT and talk to the coronavirus. Because I actually saw some dumb bitch say that, and I already had like a bad opinion of her, but it's like, fuck, bitch, I didn't know you could go any lower. Like, honey, I don't understand. And so
I should have prefaced this by saying that we don't have limitations on language here, guys. So if you're easily offended, you might want to turn away.
That's going to be a lot. That's going to be a lot. Well, somebody already Unstoppable Knock Block, he or she said Tammy Pond should deserve her own series. So I'm guessing they're readers of the book or the comic because it is on Webtoons. And also what's offered is the Pancreas Tits Pin and the shitty tarot. Now, it's not a tarot deck. It's a Lenormand style deck. And what the Lenormand style is, it's they share some imagery like the tarot, but it's about, I think, 36 cards off the top of my head. but I added 10 Oracle cards by 10 different artists that are friends of mine that they're just like, oh, can I draw a demon bitch? I need to draw a demon bitch. Please let me draw. I'm like, okay, fine. And the thing is, I want to give these artists like their free decks of cards because as a reward for and I make sure I tell the artists, it's like, look, if you go and you put something in my book, you will get a copy of the book for free at least. So I always do that. I always do that as an incentive. If they want to sell a book, I say, look, just pay for shipping and cost. You can go and sell it. That's fine. Just I'll tell you how much it is, when that is, and just sell it for MSRP and you're good. You know, but you could keep the money. And they're like totally cool with it. Hey, oh, let's see. Oh, I thought.
Hey, we've got Phil Lockler in the house. We've got Unstoppable Cock Blocka, the artist Rose, Russell Allen of Pantsless Pizza. Marv V was in earlier, but he's in Portugal, so he said, I'm going to sleep. We'll watch you on the replay. So thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate you. And if you could share this out to your friends and everything, we are really trying to get Christie Shinn's Kickstarter past goal, hit those stretch goals and everything like that, so that she can release the third pin, which is shadowed on your page. And I just shared out the link to your Kickstarter page. And this is also going to be going out to the Geek Insider podcast as well as Wild One Forever. We're going to have an article that is going to give you all the loves and all the links so that the most people can get this, because I love the story about it, because I grew up and people were mean to me. And before we came live, we were talking about growing up Korean. I'm half Korean. Yeah. And, just some of the issues with our mothers and things like that. And, but what I didn't tell her was that I was teased and bullied, and there were mean girls and I hated them all. And I wish that I had that creative outlet to draw demon bitch and everything like that. Instead, I went the writing route. I kill people in fiction, but you make them ugly, but you make people laugh, and I love that. Can you tell us about Demon Bitch and what motivated you? Maybe you have a genesis story for that.
Well, I knew this girl, and she was a fucking MAW, model actress, whatever. And but I knew a lot of girls like that. Like when I first moved to LA. They would initially be nice and then just be fucking evil cunts. And I find out eventually they'd had all sorts of drug problems and they're incredibly stupid and narcissistic. And, after doing some nice things for her, she just turned around and tried to talk shit about me to a lot of my other friends. So I said, go fuck yourself. So I did a comic about her and those other chicks. I mean, I had an also particularly evil ex-friend. And the thing that was evil about her is that she wasn't outright mean, but she would say and do little things. And then it made me think after years, like, oh, that's why you did what you did. So that's what's going on. So yeah, there's that. And then there's that. Hold on. What's up? Nothing. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I just thought there was something that needed addressed. So that's what ended up happening. And so what it was is that, so I hated this fucking bitch. And like, I was angry, but then other people would just say shit to me like, oh, well, you should just get over it. Or they're just taking up space in your head, but they fucked you over anyway. So you should just go over it. I'm like, really? And as we know, we're both Korean. Mm-hmm. We have that rage. So I was like, okay. So I just started drawing the meanest, ugliest shit I possibly could on people. I don't put their names up on there. I give them a chance to change. And since they don't do that, then they do the other thing. So that was ridiculous. So I was pissed, It's like, so I drew it, and then I started drawing demon bitch, and people said, oh, dude, I have a demon bitch. Mm-hmm. I have somebody, I know a bitch like this. Like, so I just started drawing more and more characters, and people were fucking laughing. Like, one of my buddies says, like when I draw a shitbird, he's like, oh, look at them turkey-like eyes. And somebody saw a shitbird's like feathers and said, look at them. They look like pregnant dog titties or something. So it's like this is level of anger that I have towards this, like, to people like that. And it's funny because like some of those people get mad and they go, like, one girl got pissed at me thinking it was about her. She was an asshole, and she randomly like messaged me and said, you should go get fucked by a blender. And I'm like, okay, bitch, I don't have a coochie as big as yours, but whatever. That's things. I don't shoplift. I actually have money, so I can actually buy things, But Yeah, and it's like there was another girl that like fucking kept lying about how she had a gallbladder removed and how she had Crohn's disease, but really she's a hardcore cocaine addict. So that
Mhm.
causes ischemic bowel, which is like, you know, blood constriction of the bowel, so it'll die. So it's not a good thing. And no, you cannot have Crohn's as a result of cocaine abuse. I did look, but it is. So she'd be like, oh, and now she's going like, oh, well, I fucking have my gallbladder removed. And we're all laughing at her because it was just like, really? Where's your incisions? And it's like, oh, they're below my belt and everything. It's like, bitch, you wouldn't fucking have any bowel surgery below your belt. You'd have it on your side if it's laparoscopic. You'd have 2 scars. You'd have one in the middle of your, like under your sternum because they would inflate you. And then they would go and like fucking put a camera through your fucking navel and you'd have bruises. But it's like, oh, I'm healing up. It's like, where are your fucking bruises?
Yeah.
Or they do it the other way. I showed you my scar earlier. If they couldn't get to her gallbladder that way, they would go and cut around. But either way, you get scars, you know, you'd have some scarring. So, and they would be above your belt. So just the fact that they were saying all that shit, she was whining and crying about that. I was laughing at her. So
I think that's one of the things that drives me crazy is the people who they see your misery, they see that you're getting any kind of attention, and then they have to jump on it. You know, like,
oh, it's great.
Well, whatever I have is worse than yours, and love me, pay attention to me because I'm more important. That drives me up the wall.
The thing is that on her mistake, it's like I actually had something similar. I told you about my procedure. They also removed my gallbladder, so it's like, you know, bitch, I know how this is. Like, I know how you are. Like, don't even do that. Oh, Rose, I bought the bandana from a new Kickstarter. Yeah, artist Rose did it. And she called it the cum rag. It's like I bought a cum rag from her.
Phil Locklear says, "Remind me never to piss off Christie."
Oh.
And she won't draw you ugly, Phil. She's just going to draw you with big, gigantic boobs.
Yeah,
like she did last night.
Yeah, that was one hell of a night, and I can't even say that I was drinking. It was great. It's just we were laughing and we were just drawing like the worst things ever.
I know. I was just like, you know, the conversation stopped because all of you, everybody in the panel was drawing pictures of Demon Phil with boobs. And I just thought that was hysterical. And those of you who don't know Phil Locklear, definitely follow him. He's Comics and More New Jersey, or Comics and More NJ, and follow him everywhere. He's doing some great panels and stuff like that and helping to promote comic books. And he's also a creative himself. So we're kind of following each other. This is like a really nepotistic, is that the word? Nepotistic kind of group. You know, it's kind of a small, the comic book people, I think, you know, they're for the most part tightly knit, but it is like a family because they will argue and they will be at each other's throats a little bit, but I think at the end of the day they just love each other and we want to see each other succeed, you know, and so that's why we try and push each other with the Kickstarters and the Indiegogos and things like that. So yeah, I think it's no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I did a new Demon Bitch cartoon. You want me to see? It's like the shit I see on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Also, the artist Rose says I was gonna type that, but YouTube ate my comment. The cum rag.
Oh no.
So I'll show it to you guys. I'll show it to you. Hold on. There you go.
Okay, let me add that to the stream here.
So this was my comment on people fucking screaming and hollering about how many people they unfriended repeatedly from the last 2 weeks. So it's Demon Bitch saying how she unfriended everyone. I'm really proud of it too. I'm so smart. All I had to do was delete my account. Now she's wondering why nobody gives her any attention.
Now, how long has Demon Bitch been around? I love her.
Demon Bitch, let me take a look. When I first published this, so she was been there around 2017, like in some form or another. And then I just fucking drew her because I really hated some girls and I just fucking decided to draw it as angry as possible. So like this one of the girls was like scrawny as fuck. So I just drew her like with this weird sausage shaped body because it looked like with any weight she would gain, like she would just like, it would look like a gut. It was really not good because she would probably like never eat. And then when she would binge, it would be awful. Now I know people might be going like, oh, that's fucked up. You're making fun of somebody with an eating disorder. I said, no, she's an asshole. I don't care.
Yeah.
She's just
and that's the thing. A lot of people don't have the balls, I guess, to say what they mean what they say, and you know, really remove the filter. That's something that I'm working on. I'm inspired by you, Christie.
Oh, thank you. It's like people give me your money.
I always grew up. I grew up, and this was again something that that we were talking about a little bit earlier with a difficult mom. You know, I love her, but we don't always get along, and we don't always like each other. And you know, but I had to be very diplomatic because, God forbid, if I embarrassed the family, oh my gosh, I would get my ass whooped. You know, and so that was one of the things that we were talking about was our moms and stuff. I have to ask you, what was her reaction when you told her that you were going to be an artist and kind of do that full time?
You know, it just kind of happened when I was a kid. She was always okay with it. She was happy with it, but I think she wanted me to do it a very certain way, and then she thought she knew better than me to do it. So it was kind of like I knew what I wanted to do, but she kind of got in my way a lot, and that kind of pissed me off. But in some ways, like she would let me do art classes and shit. But because it wasn't exactly how she thought it would be, she thought like that was the wrong way to do it. But it turned out not to be. So my mom actually ended up kind of being more on my side than anything. Now, like with me doing gross shit and nasty and fucked up and everything, I think what was hilarious is that like at first she got on me for occasionally saying fuck when I did art stuff, like when I really started going into high professional. And I said, well, no, you know, there were some people saying kill the president at the time. So come on, you know, mom, like, she's like, really? I said, yeah, they say shit like that, mom. That's probably not a good thing. So an occasional fuck would be okay. Cause like for me, I just don't feel like having the FBI breathe down my ass about anything. There's a way to be controversial and there's a way to be stupid, you know? So I got ahead and did that. And then I decided when I came out with Personal Monsters and Demon Bitch, I was like, fuck it. So I just started drawing really fucked up mean shit. Everybody wanted Christie Shinn when they grow up. But it's like I would just draw all these fucked up mean things. And I started drawing dicks and boobies and people liked them more. It wasn't even boring. I just was doing it to be funny. And then now, like, I thought my mom would be kind of mad, but I didn't really think about it. And then she doesn't seem to care. Like, it's like, all right, well, whatever, because I'm an adult, I guess. And she finally sees it that way. But there was this one part where, like, during the riots and everything, and everybody was angry and stuff. So I found this picture that somebody sent to me. And it's like the United Colors of Benetton, but on the caption, it says, we are all cum. It's like, you can't argue with that. It's like your dad saying to your mom, saying to you, hey, I fucked your mom. So you're like,
what are you going to do
with that? Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So it's like, so I decided, and I think almost dying, kind of having a brush with death kind of made me not give a fuck about what anybody said. No, it's like this. People think, oh, you don't give a fuck what anybody says, so you should guys say whatever you want. I said, I do, but sometimes some people just aren't worth my time to talk about. Like, I could get into 1,000,000 fucking like Facebook arguments that I can, but now it's like, especially in the last 2 weeks when it was really nasty, I was like, I don't want to see you. Hide, mute. I'm scrolling past this. This is stupid. I don't want to fucking hear it. You know, like, why are you so proud of this? It's like, this is stupid. But it's like, I noticed that if you get caught up in their shit, now again, I mean, I might sound hypocritical when I say that, but if you get so caught up in their shit, then they waste your time. It's just best to like kind of go and like observe what they do, and then you just draw about it. And it's great.
So were you always like this? Like, I don't give a shit what you think, or did this happen after your surgery, or when you found out that you were sick?
I think what it was is that I started to not give a shit, like probably a few years ago, because I was tired of like people saying to me, well, you know, you're just not going to get better, or this is that, this got over you. And I was tired of having people speak over me about this. And I was like, you know, fuck you all. So I decided to just draw stuff that was funny. And I just didn't, even people were like, well, you need to let go. And then they would be the first ones laughing at the shit. So it's like, tells you what they fucking know. Right. And I just learned that people, like, you can have friends and you can have people that give you great advice and they're immeasurable. But sometimes it's like, it's really up to you to do what you want. So I decided to live my most authentic life. I think this further, I don't give a fuck, is like after almost dying and recovering and just basically willing myself to actually be a healthy person, I think had something to do with it. It's like, no, you don't get to talk to me. If I listen to all of you, I'd be fucked. Fuck you. You know, but at the same time, I think like for me, I'm just like, I think I just know when to pick and choose my battles. And sometimes some people like they'll just go on and on. It's like, I know you want fucking attention. I'm just not gonna even like your shit. It's like, this is retarded what you're saying. But it's like I don't even fucking acknowledge it. It's like I just scroll past.
Mhm.
Or like they'll say, "Hey, look, I unfriended like 9 people today because they didn't agree with my anything and they were terrible and racist and everything." I'm like, right, you just have to fucking announce everything. Hooray. Whatever. You know, I do this every day. Some people fucking unfriend me. I'm like, whatever, fuck off.
Yep. So now tell me, one of the things I was going through some of your websites and things like that, there's a thing that you commission, I guess, like if you have a picture with your ex and you put demon bitch over them.
I
Where
did
did that
that.
idea come from? I love that idea.
Yeah.
In fact, it's making me want to go through my old photo albums and find pictures of my ex just so that I could have a demon bitch cover him. And I know that's wildly like crazy, but it's like one of those things. I'm like I want demon bitch in the picture with me. How did that come about?
Well,
And how can people get one of those from you?
one of my friends, one of my friends, she actually had pictures she really liked of herself, but she couldn't. It's just like her ex was in them and she hated him. I was like, well, she says, is
And she
there any
didn't just want
way?
to cut it up.
Yeah, like she said, maybe I could Photoshop over it. I said, well, I could draw a demon bitch over it. And she said, oh, okay. So she paid me for it. It's great. She paid me for it. And she's been a lifelong fan, which is awesome. Now with frickin' so with this one, like it's a Patreon reward. But if people would like to see that on the Kickstarter, it's great. I would be happy to do it. But the only thing is that if I don't fund on the Kickstarter, they don't get it, you know, because
Yeah.
I need to do that. So if you guys want to do the thing, I'll put it up there. I will do the
Mhm.
thing, but it has to fund. So I'll be willing to do it and I'll crank it out, you know, like, and I think it would be a $40 tier. I would just take whatever picture of their ex. I did that with my friend Tony. He had an ex. And so I just drew a picture of demon bitch, like throwing up or something like that by him. There were a lot of other weird things that I did, but it's just like demon bitch is like this terrible thing that you can just fucking beat the shit out of because she's a piece of shit and it's great. So
Now, I was mentioning this earlier before we went live that you have so many options in your Kickstarter that I was just like, well, I want that and I want that, but I don't know if I want that, you know, and I can't afford the entire like the what the hell do you call the super package? I'm like I'm pulling up your Kickstarter right now.
yeah,
It's
like
like
one like the fucking worshiping the devil 1.0, 2.0 or some shit.
but I mean, you have all kinds of things. You have 5x7 prints, you have pins. And then I thought I saw something about like if there was a package that I wanted, or, you know, that you could build one for me.
Yeah, I can do that for
And I was
people.
just like, yeah.
Yeah, like I can do that. I listed in my Kickstarter, but I know it's a lot to read. But I will say
Mhm.
this, like I will do it for the Kickstarter. Like if there's anything in the Kickstarter that you want, but it's not in a package that you want, I'll build a custom one for you and I'll tell you like what it's called. And you're welcome to like and you can get it and it'll be customized for you. I mean, people say, well, you'll do a custom pin then. I was like, no. I
No,
have
not the
these
pins.
yeah, no, it's like no, I have these specific pins. But let's say
Mhm.
if you want these pins, but you don't want this stuff, but there's no other package that says that, then
Mhm.
I will build to you a custom one with those pins. So let's say if you want the dusty face mask and 2 oracle decks and 5 pins and this is what you want, I'll make it because it's
Mhm.
within the parameters of the Kickstarter. So if it's within the parameters of the Kickstarter, I'll do it.
Yeah. And I'm looking at it right now. Pledge 150 or more for the fuckopolis. Fuck.
Fuck off. I don't know.
Version
It's like not
2.
even spelled right. I don't fucking know.
I was like, well, that's a great word to tie my tongue over. But you are just about 2,500 away from goal, and you've got 16 days ago to go.
Yeah.
And I think that you're going to make it because I mean it's just so much fun. And I mean you're active. You have your lunch hour that you do.
Yeah.
You do that every Monday through Friday. Where can people find that and tune into you?
Well, you can find it on YouTube, uh, Twitch TV, and Facebook Live on my personal Facebook. But I also do Periscope and Picardo, I believe. But
Okay.
the thing is that but I have like a like commenting thing. So, but the thing is, like, definitely say hi to me and I'll respond to you verbally because I'm going across multiple platforms. So, yeah, you can catch me Monday through Friday, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I'll be there for an hour. But I know, like, on all platforms, they should stay recorded for a while at least. I know YouTube will archive all of them. Twitch kind of deletes them after a few days, and I know Facebook Live will have them. So if you can't catch it then, you can catch it later.
Right. And I'm just going to share out a couple of your links. I had the Kickstarter out here, Webtoons also. Now, Webtoons, I've never actually visited Webtoons. I never really needed to, but these have your different prints, and it works kind of like Patreon, right?
Which one?
The Webtoons?
The Webtoon? Webtoon is like a comic strip. So it's like a weekly comic strip. So it's a thing for web comics. So I have it up for web comics myself. But then it's like I keep all the pages, so obviously I put them in the book too, along with the few extras. Yeah.
So when the Kickstarter is over, what are you thinking about your next project? Like what next book you might be doing, or?
I mean, it's kind of weird. It's sort of piecemeal. Like I think of different projects all the time, but it's like I have to have in my brain go and do the thing. So it's kind of like yes, but no. Like with this one, I kind of planned it over a period of months, and now people think, oh, you were just there writing. I said, well, no, I wrote it out. I kind of had an idea of what I wanted. And then to make the thing, because everything is done. I just need this all manufactured. That's what the Kickstarter is covering. But like I went over to Shuffled Ink to do the cards, and I got their template to figure out what it was, and that's what it was, you know.
And for anybody who's curious how the card reading is going to work, how does that work? Because that's part of the one of the pledges is that they can do a card draw.
Yeah, like what it is I'll do a random card draw sometimes. Like if you do a random 1 card or 3 card draw, and you just some people just say, hey, I want a general reading. So you just do like you take out 1 or 3, and then you do a general reading for that person. But I left it open because it's to be silly. Because I mean, you look at the fucking deck, it looks fucking weird and fucked up, right? But the thing is that with like sometimes the specific questions, because there's a specific question for 1 card, and then there's like a 3 card that is a specific question. So let's say, and it's good to be as specific as possible. Like, you know, you want to know, I'd like to know about Geek Insider, you know, what are we doing on this thing or whatever, what direction is it going? And then it's like, okay, you know, we're doing the thing. And then it's like, all right, well, okay. So, and then to be specific to that question. So that's the thing.
So is each card, does it have a description? Because you say it's not tarot. Is it kind of based loosely on tarot? I mean, where do you get the information, or is it just coming out of your head? Are you trying to kind of intuit the question with the card?
The thing is, like Lenormand style, it's a certain type of style of deck. There's tarot, which is the 78 suits, 78 cards with suits, major arcana, minor arcana, right? Minor suits. And so you have the suits of swords, pentacles / coins, wands, and cups. And each of those represents something. So coins is like wealth, pentacles, coins are wealth, cups is generally love, emotions, swords are more decisions, and wands are more action. So that's what they recommend. And then each of the arcana, major arcana, represents stuff like the Wheel of Fortune is like a wheel turning. However, when you look at fucking Lenormand, they kind of have the same thing, but they don't have suits. They have things like the rider, you know, the letter, mice, you know, and each of those do mean something traditionally. But the thing with reading cards is that when you read them, you might like look at the suit and say, oh, okay, because this card popped up, you know, this suit represents this and this, this, and this. But there's so many factors in between. Sometimes you'll just do a whole spread of cards. And even though dictionarily wise, I like to say, they do represent something, it's like, oh, well, this just means you'll get the promotion or something. But it doesn't really say that, like in those cards. They may not make sense, but that's what you get by reading them. So it's like card reading. It's like it's like an intuitive exercise. So it's kind of like what your gut's telling you, but you're not sure, but it kind of reflects it back to you. I mean, I know people go mumbo jumbo energy and all this, and there is something with that. But I think sometimes when you practice it enough, it's your own intuition reflecting back onto you.
So how in the world did you find the other artists to come up with some of the art for this Oracle deck?
Well, I've worked with them, or I know them in real life. Like I know Mia Bunn, she did Rebirth. That's the one with Demon Bitch squeezing out another breach birth type shit.
Right.
You have.
I think that's the one that disturbed me the most.
Yeah, I was thinking, damn, I don't want anybody to see your vagina, but I'm just like, you know, we should just probably leave it because it's just gross. Fuck it. And I don't know, some of the artists, I just let them like kind of do what they wanted to do. Like some of the other artists, like I had Lawrence Hubbard. He does Real Deal Comics. He's known as Raw Dog. You know, I just said, and he says, well, what do you want me to draw? I said, well, as long as it has Demon Bitch or any of her stupid friends and they're doing something. And I said, like, you know, make sure the art's like at the 2/3 up, because you have to put a sign at the bottom saying what it is. Because what I did was I did Oracle cards. Now, Oracle cards are kind of a different story. They are fortune telling cards, but they're open to interpretation. They don't have to have a set like Lenormand or tarot. You know, tarot is like certain things. Lenormand is a certain set of images, but even then they can be abstract within themselves. But Oracle, let's say I picked a card saying spirituality and it has artwork on it that's supposed to represent spirituality. So there you go on that. So we're drawing on that shit and everything. So, I mean, he did one where Jabbo the blind pimp is fucking breaking his cane over Demon Bitch's head. So, I mean, I just said, just draw whatever you want. Because at first I would just kind of throw out terms and people would draw the interpretation. But it's like by the time they got it back to me, I kind of forgot. And it was like I would think of something else. So I just said, you know what, with the other artists, like I had a couple artists that filtered in at a time. So I just said, like, okay, you know what, fuck this. Just, you know what, draw it with these requirements. And, you know, just draw it up and do the thing. And I'll figure out what to call it. So one Dallas was doing where she's like this or something like this, just pulling her skin around. And I thought of that stupid fucking comment called like, why doesn't somebody take DMT and talk to the coronavirus? So I just labeled it DMT because that looks like what it would like to me. So it was just.
So, okay, really strange question, probably off the cuff, but when you dream, do you dream in Technicolor or do you dream in black and white?
I actually
do you remember them at all?
I dream of color. Like most of the pictures, most of the dreams I remember and I recollect. And a lot of them I do dream in color. Like when I've read that a lot of people don't dream in color, I'm like, oh shit, really? Because I dream in color all the time. Sometimes it's washed out, but most of the time it's just regular, like I see color, like regular.
And do you ever wake up and go, holy shit, I got to draw that out?
Sometimes I'll just write it out, or I kind of will talk about it saying, hey, this dream and whatever, I'm trying to figure it out. And then I kind of have an idea of what it is. But it's like sometimes with like stuff, like with dreams and stuff, you want to go, hey, Kenny, how's it going? So like you open it up and you read it. And you're just kind of like, you read the meanings, but it's like, it's kind of to your own interpretation of what resonates with you. Same thing with card readings. Like you can read, somebody on YouTube can read your cards and it can be 100% right, or they could be wrong, or they can be partially right. It's kind of where you're tuning into that person for that moment. So I know it's like so abstract to say that, but it is true. So.
And let me see here. Okay. So we have, you already said hello to Kenny. Hello, Kenny Aitkenhart.
Hey, Artist Rose. Who's Unstoppable Cockblock? I'm not familiar with that person's username. He knows they talk like they know me.
They're on YouTube, so it's really
unless
they're on Facebook. Yeah, I'm not sure. Who are you? Who are you?
Who are you? Like I probably know them. I just don't know them by their YouTube handle. So like, speaking forever, hold your peace, dude.
I know. So tell me about some of the pens and the inspiration. I do want to hear your cancer story for our audience, because there are a lot of people who are kind of going through it. And a lot of people are when It's devastating. I've lost my father to cancer. My mother had it. I've lost a bunch of relatives because of cancer, and I'm like, fuck cancer. I fucking hate it. And it's one of those things where it's on both sides of my family. So I'm either doomed, or if I don't get it, I'll probably live to my 80s. And that's just the family average. And I'm very realistic about that. So I figure, okay, most of them, if they do get cancer, they're dead before they hit 60. I'm like, I've got 10 good years, 10 or 11 good years, or I'll live longer than that. And it's kind of given me the attitude of, I'm just going to live my life. I'm going to do the things that I want to. Yes, I want to earn a living and all that, but I want to do good things, and I don't want to leave this life with any regrets. And I kind of get that sense from you too, where you're like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to do what I do, and I'm not, I don't want to speak for you. I'll let you do that, but that's kind of the sense that I get from you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think when I was doing it, I was like actually doing well. And when I got it, and I can't even say it was really cancer. It was a tumor. It hadn't been full-blown cancer yet, but I got it in time. When I had
But
to
it's
deal
not
with it,
scary when the doctor says, "Oh, you've got a growth, you've got a tumor," and stuff like that. The worst case scenario always pops into our head.
yeah, like fuck, I'm gonna die or something. Yeah, I mean, I kind of went through a phase where I felt myself like if I died, I would feel everything alone. And again, it's not that I wouldn't have friends and family be there for me, but they can't feel like the shit I'm going through as I'm dying, like the physical part of dying. So I thought about that. I thought about this is fucking unfair. It's like I'm starting to do shit. You want to cut me down. And it was kind of like, well, I said I wanted to die sometimes, and well, now I don't want to die. I don't know what the fuck to really think here, So I'm kind of like, fuck, So I don't know. It was like kind of one of those things where I kind of went through a long, like dark tea time of the soul. And I just kind of had to go through it. I can't even say that I'm okay with like feeling that way again, where like I'll feel my body die around me. I really don't really fucking know. And it might freak me out again, but I'm just kind of like, well, okay. That's all you can really say is, well, okay. And then you just live your life how you want to live it. Do some things aggravate you more? Sure. Because like, you're like, really, I'm so past this. But some things you're really zen about. And some things you're like, okay, well, if I panic this way, I'm not going to get what I want. So let me focus on what I want and just kind of keep calm. Like people rush people to do things. Oh, you got to send that note. Oh, you got to do this. Oh, you got to do that. No, do what you need to do. Do what you feel like you need to do. Not out of fear, not out of like rushing, but what you need to do. So, and like you kind of have a better sense of self. I think also you have a better sense of like what you want to deal with and what you don't want to deal with. Like sometimes with people, I'm just like, I'm very patient with them, but then I'm like kind of like pissy about them. Like there's some things I will not take.
Yeah. I have friends of mine who I will absolutely pick up the phone for them because they need that. They need that kind of support and stuff. And then I have others who, when they disappear, maybe because they're depressed or something like that, I know generally that they're okay. And they're okay to kind of wallow, because that's what I do. If I get into a depression or something like that and I'm not feeling it, I will tell people I am not good company right now. You don't want to be around me. Don't try and cheer me up because I will bite your head off. And I don't mean to. It's just I need to be in this place right now, and I need to be okay with that. And then I'll come out when I'm good and ready. Don't fucking rush me. That drives me crazy, And I think when we are sick or we get a scare like that, or we go through that type of surgery, any kind of trauma, I guess, whether it's to our body or to our heart or our mind, we need that time to kind of assess and figure out what the hell is a priority and all that stuff. So I totally get what you're saying as far as you want to be patient with people, but at the same time, you want to shake them and say, this isn't fucking killing you. You're going to be okay.
Yeah. Or like, it's just, I really don't want to hear you fucking screaming, yelling, and, panicking in my ear. This is just not something I want to deal with.
Yeah. I mean, is it moving you forward and things like that? Speak to your mindset about that, though, because again, when you get that, when you hear it from the doctor and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. But then that mindset is so important for me personally to say, okay, I'm not going to let this kill me. And I want to preface that by saying, when I was working at the newspaper, I was in the obituary department. So I was handling people's last story every single day. And then on top of it, I was a funeral singer. And I say I was a funeral singer because I did more funerals than I did weddings. And then on top of it, I lost a lot of family members. They were either sick or dying or dead because of cancer and stuff like that. And I saw so many people in that final stages of their life where they kind of determined in a way their death day. Like if they accepted it, then it was like, boom, dead. It was like, I just wanted, for my father, I believe that I was there when he finally said, this is going to take my life. And he was gone so quickly. And in a way it was a blessing because it was like, if you're not, speaking of faith, I'm like, if you're not going to heal him, then please take him quick because this man never wanted to suffer. And that would be like the worst hell for him. Mm-hmm. And I think in his head, he got right with that. And he was gone very quickly. And in a way, I felt guilty because I felt like I prayed him to die. And that wasn't the case. But again, for his mindset, it was just like, this is taking me and I'm going to go. And he exited as soon as possible. But that didn't happen to you. I mean, you had a 6-inch tumor in your pancreas.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say pancreas. Oh, that's a death sentence.
Yeah, that's pretty much
it's still here.
Yeah. It was weird because I had to play this game of craps that I didn't even fucking want to get involved with. And like I had that rare 1% of tumor that it was like, it attacks Asian women and Black women. And it doesn't turn cancerous until past a certain point. And it hadn't yet. So if I left it in, it would have been cancerous, 100%. That's what the surgeon said. But since it wasn't, they just took it out. It was like a neoplastic pseudopapillary tumor. And even then they said, when we got the pathology back, they said, oh, it's a growth. And we're like, what? And even the doctor was like, what? So he called them, and I guess I can't even explain it, but how the oncologist was explained it to and the pathologist, it was like one of those tumors that really wasn't a tumor. It didn't behave like a traditional tumor, but it could be cancerous. What it does is past a certain point as it'll grow, it'll break apart and it'll spread the cancer around. And because the surgeon said, you need to take this out right away. Because if you do not, 10 more years, I had to beg, 10 years ago, I begged this woman to take this cancer out of her and I take this tumor out. She didn't. 10 more years passed and she has stage 3. I don't know if this woman is alive, but she's battling stage 3. Right. And I'm like, well, fuck, I don't want to play with those odds. But yet somehow I played the odds and I won, even though it was like slim. So it's like,
part of the 1%, that is incredible. But also, I mean, how did you know to get examined? Was it just part of your annual exam? Or, most people, I don't think when they're going to the doctor, just, for a checkup and stuff like that, they're not like, hey, check my pancreas.
Well, it was weird. Okay. When I woke up, I had been feeling like shit for the past month of August. It was after Comic-Con and I thought I was run down personally.
Yeah.
Then I would like want to sleep in. Yeah, like I thought it was concrete, but I would sleep in bed for 3 days. It's like I didn't even want to work out, and I was like, "This is weird. Maybe I'm lazy, but just something was like, don't work out, just don't." So I was like, "Fuck." So I like woke up one time. I was on my cycle. I felt like shit, and I said, I need to go to the doctor. And I tried calling my primary care physician, different person at the time. I changed it since, but then they said, "Oh, you'll have to wait till September." I'm like, "Well, fuck this. I'm not waiting." So I just felt bad. Like I thought the reason why I went to the emergency room is I thought like a latent kidney infection because my lower back hurt in a way, when you had a kidney infection before it hurts in a certain way. So I thought it was that. And I was having weird aches and pains on my legs or everywhere that I was injured, my upper back, everything. It sucked. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I walked over to my thing and So I went over to the emergency room thinking, oh, because I thought it was urgent care, but it was emergency room. I don't know why I did that, but I just did that. And I felt kind of stupid because it would just kind of fade in and out. Like I'd feel sick and shitty and run down, and then I'd be okay. And then it would just fluctuate. So I guess they just took it in their head to just, do an ultrasound on me. So they did. Came back and they told me, oh, you've got a mass. I was like, what? You have a mass either in your stomach, your liver, or pancreas. We're going to do a CAT scan with contrast now. I'm like, what? So I go in and I'm thinking, God, I hope it's not pancreatic tumor. Well, that happened. After the CAT scan, they came back and they said, well, we found it in your pancreas. I'm like, what? And that's when the whole fucking cascading thoughts happened, and it was not fun. And that's when I had to pull myself together in a way and just say, look, at this present moment, I do not have a cancer. I will not view it as having cancer. I do not have cancer. And it didn't mean I was going to go home and forget about it. Because obviously, if I'm feeling like shit this many times, there's obviously something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So they took me by an ambulance. Not like it was crazy fast, but it was just they drove me to the other hospital because they already lined up specialists and stuff. And they just checked my tumor markers. They had me in the hospital. They put me through an endoscopy, and they did biopsies, and they said, okay, well, we'll just go in. They cut me open a little bit. Cancer, there was no spreading of cancer, it was just a tumor. They took it out, did the whole thing. It was just weird. It was just kind of like how it was escalating, like from, I had like I had an advanced stage possibly of pancreatic cancer to like, I was going to be diabetic. And then now I'm not diabetic at all. But it was weird because I was starting to have like weird little like indigestion moments, and I didn't understand why. I was drinking seltzer all the time to help it. I would drink a beer and feel like throwing up, even though that's nothing that would affect me normally. And, like I would try to eat or something, and it would just be like I couldn't really eat. It didn't taste right, or like in retrospect, some of these things I actually looked at it. It was like kind of bland. It was really weird. I had like a really, really weird type thing. So it's strange. I don't want to be like, it was just kind of one of those things like pay attention to your body. I felt sick. I decided to go. I really thought I was going to get antibiotics and just go home. And then I had to stay 2 weeks in the hospital up until my birthday till that release date. That was some shit.
Yeah. I think it's so important because most women that I know will kind of power through the aches and pains, and they'll just kind of say, it's nothing. And they don't look into it. And I think we really know when we're not feeling right. We really know. And if we don't pay attention to it, whether it's like for me personally, I was getting to a point where I was feeling absolutely terrible. And I said, if I keep going on this path of eating what I want, not exercising, just sitting in my chair all day or laying down on the couch and stuff like that, I am really going to get sick and I'm going to have some of these serious problems. And it prompted me to get off my ass and start exercising. And I had to develop a habit, and I had to get it in my head that I was going to keep doing this. And I feel terrible because it's been like horrible weather. It's friggin' Florida and it's like 100% humidity, and you go outside and you can't breathe. And I'm like, okay, well, that's my excuse for not to exercise. But now I feel like shit for missing it. And, so again, I'm not listening to my body, and it's stupid. It's really stupid. And when you're not feeling good like that, I think you really need to talk to somebody and ask those questions and be an advocate for yourself. And that's exactly what you did, because, if you listen to that first doctor, who knows where you'd be.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because like the doctor just said, oh, we'll check it out,
Yeah.
I actually felt kind of stupid initially, but they just went and put me in and they scanned me. They were really good, and they did an ultrasound and I was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, they did an ultrasound and the rest is history. I wouldn't say I'm fine. It was like really disconcerting, but out of all the things, like it was just like, oh. So it's kind of like with this whole thing with COVID-19 and the riots, it's like, I'm not disavowing that things are serious. I'm just kind of like not panicking. I'm working within parameters of what I can do to make it better for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what it is. Like, people need to work within their own set of parameters. What are they okay with? What is available to them? Are they not seeing, but some people tend to do the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Now, how did we mentioned this pre-show, but how did that change family dynamics at all?
Well,
Because we were talking about, like, my mother and I, we've kind of butted heads, and we still do. I love her, I really do, but sometimes we don't always get along, and I think it's probably because, I mean, there are a lot of reasons. I'm not going to get into that here, but I think a lot of it is, I'm still her child. I'm still the one that she cleaned her, the dirty diapers and was yelling at and stuff like that. So to become a peer has been a difficult journey for her to allow me to graduate into adulthood. and still, because I'm the creative one, here I am, I'm doing live streams. I'm trying to, I write, I sing, I do all of those creative things. And really, except for my brother, none of us really have that creative gene in us. So they never knew what to do with us. Mm-hmm. And you were saying that your parents, they're successful in their own field, but it's definitely not art. That plus getting sick and everything, how your relationship might have changed.
Well,
or has it?
My mom, like, she was always kind of calming Neb for the most part. She was calming down for a while. Like, I think when I was younger, she was more worried about me, hence her freaking out a lot. But I think after, and I didn't know the full scope, but I noticed, like, after I healed from my pancreatic tumor, like, I was less aggro, less testy. Mm-hmm. So I think this thing was making me kind of like fight against myself, because I was trying to fight to, I mean, I wasn't like a raging bitch, but I just kind of had a shorter fuse. And since this thing takes about 10 years to grow, like, that's what the surgeon told me. It takes a long time to grow. And I noticed weird metabolic changes. Like, I'd eat a piece of pizza and gain 5 pounds. It's like, what the fuck is this? Like, a piece of pizza, like weird shit like that. And I never understood why. And I thought I was getting older, and like little weird things. But my mom and I, like, I think, like, I'm less testy with her, mm-hmm. but at the same time, she's less naggy with me. And I think we came to this understanding that, we're both, we both kind of didn't know. And I think the fact that I could have died, I think, kind of impressed upon her. And she was there when they were taking out the drainage tubes, and those fucking things hurt. And I had a broken ankle before. I thought my pain tolerance was pretty big, mm-hmm. but it hurt like a bitch when they took those things out. It just slid it out, like, oh, it looked like an asshole. That was my black cat, by the way. But it was like, oh, like, it literally felt like somebody punched me in the gut, which was weird, because they took it out on the side here and the side there. Mm-hmm. It hurt like a bitch. And
it's like a skin pull, right?
It's not even that. I think it's like, it basically, it feels like somebody did something painful where they just kind of ripped your stomach out or something. It was the weirdest. It's like slithering in, and it hurts all the way. It's like a snake that's living underneath your skin.
Good way to describe that.
Yeah, it really doesn't feel good. And it took me by.
And she was there for that?
Yeah, she saw them do that, because I was ready to go home, and she just had this look on her face, like, because I had the fucking staples in there. They had to take it out because this was stitched into my skin, so they had to take out the things, and it was just, it was crazy. And my mom was just like, she just had this look. I mean, she was stoic. You know how Korean moms can be pretty stoic, but she kind of her face sort of twitched a little, because I think she mm-hmm. just saw me just have all these staples, what I've fucking gone through. I didn't have bruises really outside, but she saw me just like, I'm all cut up and everything. And she's like, and she even felt, later on, she told me she felt really depressed every time she went to the hospital. Even though there was no danger of me dying, it was just seeing me that way kind of fucked her up. So mm-hmm. I think we were just more tolerant of each other. And the fact that I didn't have this fucking thing eating away at me made it better that I could tolerate her and be more tolerant. Like, sometimes if she says something I don't like, I just said, why'd you say that? Mm-hmm. And then she'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, but we don't get into a fight. Like I used to be really pissed off at her. I'd be like, why the hell are you doing this? And because this would be from childhood, like her nagging my ass all the time, or kind of getting on my ass sometimes, that when she really didn't need to. But like after the whole pancreatic tumor thing, we just realized how sick I was. And we had no idea for the longest time how sick I was. I mean, as I said, I wasn't incapacitated, but it definitely colored things in a way that really affected me in a while. And I'm like, really? Ugh. I mean, again, as I said, I had full control of my facilities. It's not that I wasn't, but I kind of wondered, like, why the hell am I so angry or aggro or upset? And I think it was just fucking with my hormones and fucking with everything. Like I would wear a shirt that a friend gave me, and if it was a certain material, I'm like, oh, I can't wear it because it would just kind of start this rash. But then after my tumor was removed, I could put that on and it wouldn't bother me.
And you were saying the same thing about food and things like that. What about like patterns and I don't know, maybe even the creative process, you know, like how you
told me a little bit. I think it maybe retarded some things. It could have been, it wasn't like completely, but it was something, you know, it just kind of held me back. It fucked with my moods. I think the sleep did bother me because due to the pain, because it was a mass pressing against my back. So I think it was like hurting things that had been injured before that would otherwise not bother me did. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, we're rounding out the hour here, and I do want to finish up on Demon Bitch because that is the Kickstarter, and you've got 16 days to go on this, and we really want to try and push you over the finish line because the thing is, if you're tuning in and you don't know Kickstarter and you're not familiar with it, if you don't make to goal, it's like all or nothing, guys. So, you know, I would definitely push this out. Tell your friends, you know, buy a pin, buy a 5x7. I mean, you've got all kinds of stuff. You've got the masks and everything. I don't suppose you have a mask there with you.
No, I don't have it built. These are for the manufacturer, but it is designed. So the design is up there. And I actually, they actually, the bandana company, they make shirts too. So they sent me the shirt made out of the same material. So I actually put it over to see, and it's very breathable. So it's not like you're going like that. But you can use it as a bandana, and the material feels nice. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm going to put your link in the chat here again, and then we're going to post this out. And again, this is, you know, we're going to do an overview with an article and everything on Geek Insider and Wild One Forever. And, you know, the replay is going to be available on YouTube and on our podcasts. So that's going to be aggregated out to iHeartRadio, Spotify, Podbean, and a few other places where people listen to their favorite podcasts and stuff, whatever app it is that you like to do. And one of the things that I usually close with when I have a guest on is if you could go back in time and tell your younger self one thing, what would it be?
I don't know. It's like, don't be afraid. Don't make decisions based out of fear. A lot of people make them. It's not a good thing because when you're making a decision out of desperation, you make the stupidest decisions for yourself. Don't make it out of fear, because if it's okay to be scared, that's not what I'm saying is that, but understand that making it out of fear or desperation is just not going to put you in a good place 100% of the time.
I love that answer because when I was younger, I felt like I feared everything, and everything felt like I was going to die. If I did something new, I was going to die.
Yeah. I know.
And it's like, okay, yeah, that you're not dying. It didn't kill you. And doing it the first time made it a lot easier, you know, for the next time around. And that took a while for me to internalize that. So really great piece of advice. We've got here, Buy a Cum Rag by the artist Rose.
Oh, yeah.
And the Unstoppable Cock Block says, is there room for a heavenly arch nemesis in the demon bitch world? Maybe angel tits.
Oh, God, angel tits. That would be funny. Or angel ass. Because I heard it like there's a term angel ass. So maybe I'll do that.
That would be funny.
Who the fuck are you, Cockblock? I know you know me because you read my books. I'm just trying to remember who you are because I don't know your YouTube handle.
It's really hard to see what the user, their picture looks like because it's so small here in the chat.
Yeah.
And then Russell Allen says, titty pins for life, hashtag.
There you go, right? Titty pins, like spread the titties. Like seriously, I need to get past 550 so I can make more demented shit for you guys.
Right. That's what we want. We need this in our life. So everybody, I put the Kickstarter link in the YouTube and the Facebook channels, wherever this is posting. And again, this is going to be up on Geek Insider and Wild One Forever. Thank you so much for tuning in. Christy, do you want to do any last words or shout outs or anything like that before we end the broadcast?
Well, just to let you know, the artist Rose in there, she also has a card in here too. It's called Burrito Dreams.
All right, cool.
The thing is that if you want to take a look at other artists' work and support them, I know I'm manufacturing them, but the thing is they're going to be so happy when they get their new cards. I'm giving them a pack of cards. That's what I do with every artist. So please, support this Kickstarter, because in a way you're supporting them, because they're actually having a physical item that's actually manufactured for their own shit. It's not just about me. It's like the 10 other artists that I support here too. I mean, I'm not in riches. I can't really pay them what they're worth, but I can at least give them that. And that makes them fucking happy. It makes their day, because sometimes some artists feel really beaten down. It's like, I can't believe you asked me. It's like, your artwork's good. What the fuck is wrong with you? Mm-hmm. So please, for this, and also for the big titty pins, come on, you got to own them, because look, this year has been garbage for a lot of people. Let's be admitted. And to people to focus on the bad, let's laugh at it. So we have COVID-19. We have the plague doctor. Now we've got pancreas tits. Look, if I can laugh at my shit and make it stupid and ludicrous, I think you can too. We need to laugh at this thing, because that'll actually make us cope with it way better. Because what I saw the last 2 weeks, people were not okay with it. And they were pretending to be, and they were pretending to go, let's go full activists, all of us. But the problem is that they were just ripping each other apart. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be an activist. If you want to, you want to, but they were ripping each other apart. And I do not want to see that shit ever again. So if you want to go and support and build up things, you can build up my artists. I mean, okay, they're not doing the whole deck, but come on, they've got a piece of art. They're wanting to go and make it work for themselves. All of them got fucked over in this situation. Mm-hmm. So it's not about me. Yes, I'm putting the Kickstarter. Yes, it's my creation, whatever. But I'm also trying to lift my other artists up by involving the fan art. I could have not done it. I'm not saying I would have been a bastard not doing, but I wanted to include my friends in it. I wanted to include other artists that were good at their work and that do deserve some recognition. And they're fucking funny and great people. I don't work with people that aren't good people. You can be talented as fuck, but if you're a fucking piece of shit, I won't. We'll buy some stuff off the site for your birthday. Thank you, Unsubbable Cockblocker. But just, it's not about me. I know, yeah, I have that thing. I want to go beat it and I want to beat it good. Yes, that's my thing. Yes, I want to get my stuff made. But the thing is, also think of my friends that have been fucked with too. I put this together also so they can feel like they're a part of something and they are really happy to be a part of something. And again, I'm not saying I'm the end all. I'm just saying I'm that bright spot that enables them to make them feel better about what they do.
That's a wonderful thing that you're doing, because you have a platform already and you're helping to lift other people up, whether it's through their art and stuff. But not only that, this Kickstarter, again, it's all or nothing. And it's not only helping them, but you're also helping the people who are manufacturing this thing, because that's hit them too. These printers and the people who are manufacturing the pins and stuff and the masks and everything, they've suffered too. They haven't had the work. And so anything that comes their way is very meaningful. It helps them keep the doors open one more day. And so again, speaking to what Christy was saying, it's not just about her. This isn't an ego trip for her. This is putting work out there. It's continuing the creativity. It's acknowledging other artists, and it's keeping other people in work. So, I mean, it's really important when you think about that. It's not just about, oh, well, she made a couple $1,000s already. She doesn't need my help. Every dollar counts. Every dollar counts. And I really highly recommend that you take a look at it and check out some of the other artists on Kickstarter, because she's not the only one. And people are doing a lot of good things. And, your messaging, again, is you can have a really shitty day. You could have a really shitty moment. You could be surviving your tumor. Could have been a lot worse. And if it can make people laugh and, Demon Bitch is out there, superimposed on your ex, if that makes you laugh, by all means, do what you need to do to make it a better day. And on that, thank you guys. Thank you for tuning into Lady Geek Live. I know we were an hour later, but, I'm an idiot. And I'm okay with that. I own it.
That's how the time that I got, I was like, oh shit. Okay. So I got confused too. But yeah, no. And also and also the thing is, guys, also I'm supporting companies that have been good to me. Like one company is overseas. And unfortunately, I know people are down on China right now and I'm not saying they don't deserve that reason, at least the CCP government, the Chinese Communist Party, but this company has been good and I'm supporting a company that is good. So if you guys, I'm just trying to help people here, whether or not they have a laugh or whether they just want to fuck with things or whatever. It's just play.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys.
All right. Bye-bye.